चलो जी क्यों चलो जाके सीट रखो चलो चलो अपनी सीट रोक लो जी साड़ी सीट रोक लो मैं लास्ट से आवांगा नहीं खाली पई है जितना मर्जी घूमो
Excuse me, coming through.
बहुत बचा के जी गिरना जाओ
वही गिरते
रोमी साहब आप लास्ट बंदे हैं बंदा
लास्ट
often widened to 2.5 kilometres, covering most of the city and surrounding suburbs. So the Yarra River had to be tamed. And since the late 1800s, we have constructed upper Yarra catchment dams, restricting some of the flow of the water, as well as straightened, deepened and widened the course of the river flowing through the city. And the river now has 70 bridges crossing, making Melbourne quite an accessible city. And the depth of the water through the city, 3 to 5 metres through the city and upstream behind us, but in the port and the shipping channels are maintained 16 metres. As I mentioned, the river does have 70 bridges crossing, and this next bridge, an historical railway bridge, purposely constructed to bring in immigrants straight off sailing ships from the bay onto trains and straight into the city, called the Sandwich Bridge. But the tramways has taken over from the railways. The bridge still open for pedestrians, lots of information on top of the bridge regarding immigration, and the metallic sculptures called the Travellers, in homage to all the foreigners who have settled in Australia. And on our right hand side is Banana Alley, the very first wharves of Melbourne. Sailing ships will deliver their produce at Banana Alley until being sent off to the marketplaces. And this next bridge, called Queen's Bridge, was once the site of a reef that the indigenous people referred to as the Yarra Yarra, which means flowing and flowing. But the reef has been blasted away for shipping, and in 1910, Harry Houdini, a famous escape artist, performed his stunt off Queen's Bridge with 10,000 people observing. This next section of river, the very first and original port of Melbourne. We have North Wharf number 1 on the right, South Wharf number 1 to the left. South Wharf. And from time to time, the river rises more than normal. When it does rise, the parkland on our right-hand side submerges underwater. And a helicopter landing pad coming up on our right-hand side. It's built for 2 helicopters. The Microflight company used the very first harbour control tower as their office. Officially the lowest bridge crossing the river, just ahead of us, Spencer Street Bridge. These bridges constructed low and flat to accommodate the horse and cart. If the horse had to tow a heavy load, it would have difficulty over a steep incline. And next on our left-hand side, the Melbourne Exhibition Centre. The centre is a shed 440 metres in length, constructed from the blueprints of a 7... And ahead of us, the last bridge to span the river is the Seafarers Bridge. On the right or north bank, the Seafarers Mission. And the Seafarers Mission is a grey building with a terracotta tiled roof. It still operates today, offering a bus service to the sailors in the port, giving them a little break on land. And next to the Seafarers Mission, they are constructing an apartment building. They will be keeping the old grey 8-ton crane, which was once used for shipping. Nowadays, modern shipping requires 40-ton cranes. And on our left-hand side, hidden beneath some townhouse apartments, a shopping mall called BFO. And the last bridge to be constructed on the river is the pathway on our right-hand side which links the north banks. It's called the Jim Stynes Bridge. Jim Stynes was an Australian rules football player who raised money for children's charities. And the bridge we're under, dedicated to the first surveyor to chart the waters of the Yarra River, Charles Grimes. And the very next bridge, a pedestrian sculptural bridge of a fishing trap. The webbing on our left-hand side is the fishing trap. The rest of the bridge, one of the river's eels that's wandered into the trap. And next on our left-hand side is where the other half live. Apartments and townhouses to the left, apartments and large corporations to the right. We had noticed when they did construct the building on our right-hand side that they had encroached on our waterways. So you could call them bank robbers. And coming up on our left-hand side, amongst all the vessels, 2 Venetian gondolas. One has a blue canopy. When they are operating, many proposals take place on those gondolas. Once we've passed all the vessels on our left-hand side, we'll have a view of a recent addition to the south bank of the river, some wild beasts. There are wild beasts all the way up to the next bridge, making it a real concrete jungle. As you can see to the left, a giant gorilla. In front of the gorilla, there's a monkey, and we are ecstatic that Skippy the bush kangaroo has made a home at Yarra's Edge. Good on you, Skip. Make that rope fast, Skip. That's nautical jargon, but tie up the rope. She's really good at her knots. And if you don't know who Skippy the bush kangaroo is, she's the Australian version of MacGyver.
Thank you very much.
A pleasure. Yes. And coming up on our left-hand side, some townhouses. These townhouses seem to have popped up overnight, being constructed from concrete slabs. However, they are fetching a price range between $5 and $10 million. And should one take your fancy, you are in luck. I can sell you one straight off the boat. Cash only. And on our right-hand side, a building called the Dock. It's not a medical practice, but a library to the docklands. And all the missing timbers on our right-hand side at the riverfront has actually been recycled. And we have been informed of a small town in Italy who's tried to copy our architecture in a roundabout way. On the esplanade to the docklands, the Marble Stadium, a seating capacity for 55,000 people with a retractable roof. And Melbourne has 4 retractable roof stadiums. And when he retired, gained a passion for drinking, driving and crashing. That's probably why we've named a roadway after him. It's 5 kilometres in length, spanning over several suburbs of Melbourne. It also has twin towers in the centre of the bridge, standing 140 metres in height, serving no structural value to the bridge whatsoever. They don't even touch the bridge. But they do act as a navigational aid for aircraft. They let the pilots know how low they can fly before they may hit electrical wires spanning the river right next to the bridge. It's expanding, and the cement powder extracted from the vessels using 4 black tubes which attach to the vessel and just extract the powder similar to a vacuum cleaner. And while you're not a regular visitor to the Port of Melbourne, they have begun painting the large silo using domestic paint rollers. Fun to watch.
कुछ याद आया ऐसे जहाज खड़ा दिया अपना आगे
land-based cranes to load and unload ships, and we'd better turn here because there's a ship coming into Swansea.
शिप आ रहा उधर लगूगा देखो उधर आ रहे अंदर
There's Swansea Dock, the largest container port in Australia, able to service 6 large ships.
जहाज चढ़ा अंदर बोटा नाल होनी है उदा लोग नहीं बोलेगा